everyone, welcome back to Working on It. It's been a long time, but I'm happy to be back with you. Today we will be doing a very different video where I will be doing a little bit of a story time, and we will still have a lesson to take out and something that I want you guys to work on. But let me introduce myself first. I'm Dr. A, and I'm a clinical psychologist aiming to make your life just a bit more manageable. Remember, the tools and the tidbits that we talk about on this channel are purely educational. They can't replace therapy, but with some practice, they can help you along in your daily life. So let's get started. Like I said, today we'll be doing a little bit of a story time. I will be telling just a couple of recent embarrassing stories, and we will be talking about embarrassment in general. Embarrassment and shame are some of our strongest and most intense emotions as humans, especially shame. Why does embarrassment exist? Well, it kind of helps to keep us in line with what's expected of us in society. Sometimes when we're embarrassed, it's kind of good that we're embarrassed. It's our brain telling us, hey, this is not what we do to fit in, right? So it sort of keeps us included socially, and we have very strong social inclusion needs. So embarrassment's not always bad. It's sort of, think of it like a guide, right? So if we trip and fall and we feel really, really embarrassed, yeah, because, we shouldn't be tripping and falling all the time, right? So the embarrassment makes sense. It's giving us some information. We know it was an accident, but our brain's like, hey, walk upright, right? So we get a little bit embarrassed. But let me tell you a couple of my embarrassing stories, and today's topic will be how being embarrassed can actually, and doing things that are embarrassing can actually sometimes help meet our needs. We could think of what our needs are in the moment, and then we can do things that maybe we feel a little bit embarrassed about, but it could actually help us meet our needs. So this is not something we do all the time, but in the moment. So let me tell you about my in the moments. We haven't seen each other in several weeks now. I've been traveling, I've been away, celebrating some things, and I had to go on an airplane, and don't even get me started. I mean, we have a whole video about how I talk to you guys about beating fears, and there's 2 videos about that, and I really recommend those videos because this is exactly how I help people get over fears of all different kinds in the office when I see patients. So I recommend going to those videos. But I shared with you guys, my number one fear is going on airplanes. I hate it. Turbulence, not turbulence, it's all bad to me. But what am I doing? I'm following some of the things that I'm teaching you guys, and most importantly, I'm getting on that airplane instead of staying home. I'm challenging myself. I'm trying to do it anyway. I'm trying to expose myself to the things that I'm scared of, just like I ask you guys to do. But it was not good. I was terrified. I was really scared. I was telling myself all the things that I would tell my patients to do. But you know what I did? First of all, I told all the flight attendants. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for a grown woman to tell other grown men and women, hi, is everything gonna be okay? Hi, does our flight path look bumpy or not? It is very embarrassing, right? But in that moment of embarrassment, even though it's an isolated incident, I'm not always acting like that. In that moment, I made myself embarrassed in the service of getting my needs met. What do I mean? I was embarrassed to tell them in the service of them comforting me, not just in that moment and making me feel like, you know what, it is going to be okay. But throughout the flight, a lot of flight attendants would come and check on me. Is everything okay? Right? So it's embarrassing and vulnerable to say that I was scared, but I got my needs met, which was reassurance and comfort. And can I give you guys proof of me doing this? This is a note that was written to me by a flight attendant saying, you are brave. Flying isn't easy. I mean, really. Just to show you guys that I really did tell everyone. I got a note from a flight attendant, right? So let me tell you another one. On one of these were long flights, over 10 hours. On one of the flights, I literally, like a child, asked the flight attendant, is it okay if I meet the pilot? And so here I go. Is that embarrassing? Of course. I walk in. The pilots thought a little child was walking in. A whole woman walks in. It's very embarrassing, but I allowed myself to be embarrassed in the service of the pilots saying like, hey, don't worry, turbulence is just this, by me seeing, hey, these pilots are real people who have also care about their lives and families, and they take their job obviously very, very seriously, right? And I have one more embarrassing story for you guys. This is, tip of the iceberg, right? We all have them. But within the context of being embarrassed to getting my needs met, right? So these are emotional needs that I'm talking about, right? I needed to be comforted, I needed to be reassured, but we have physical needs as well. And I am getting a new house, and it is so expensive. And I got this house and it's so expensive. And then on top of that, didn't think about it, you got to get furniture, which is even more expensive. It doesn't leave a whole lot of free funds. So I was at this store that was doing a grand closing, and I sort of looked behind the clerk, and there are just racks and racks and racks of great hangers. And I'm like, do I really want to spend money that I don't have right now on new hangers? It seems like such a silly thing to spend money on. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get my financial and physical needs met by asking her, which is so embarrassing, do you think I could maybe have your hangers since you guys are closing and throwing it out, right? Was that embarrassing? Yes. But did I get my needs met? Now I don't have to spend $50, $60 in getting a whole bunch of hangers for all the rooms, if not more than that. Yeah, I got my needs met. And after that, I was walking around with hands of hangers because she didn't have bags all throughout the mall. That was very embarrassing. Everybody was looking at me. Yes, very embarrassing, but I got my needs met. I want you guys to think about this connection, that when you are in a situation, especially when it is pressing or dire, that I want you to allow yourself to be embarrassed in the service of getting your needs met. Let's use another real life example. I said falling before. How many times have we've seen people fall hard? And what do? Laugh maniacally and play it off and joke it off where it looks even weirder, right? We've been that person, or we've seen the people and they're laughing maniacally and just trying to play it off so they don't feel embarrassed. Meanwhile, people are looking at each other like, she fell hard, right? You saw that? Yeah, she felt really hard. I saw that, right? Now, they are trying not to be embarrassed, but maybe it is okay in that situation to be embarrassed and to acknowledge that they fell and it hurt in order to get their needs met, which might be, I might need to be helped up. I might need to be helped to a chair. I might need a bag of ice or an ice pack on my knee, right? Whatever it is. Because laughing maniacally, yes, you're not embarrassed and you're trying to brush it off, but at the same time, you are not being helped with your injuries, right? So I'm gonna leave you with that. Go through this weekend and this week and see what situations come up where maybe, yes, getting your needs met would be a little bit embarrassing, but you would get your needs met, right? Only we can advocate for ourselves. Nobody was gonna come up to me and say, are you nervous to be on this flight? Nobody was gonna do that. The cashier wasn't gonna be like, do you need hangers? You seem like you got a new house and you can't afford the hangers. Do you need hangers, right? Nobody's gonna advocate for us. So we need to advocate for ourselves. And yes, maybe be a little bit embarrassed in the moment, but unless that's something you're doing all the time, that's more than okay. You're getting your needs met, and that's what matters, okay? So give it a try, go throughout the weekend, the week, see what situations come up and see what you can do. Maybe it's even a little bit embarrassing to get your needs met. I post videos every Tuesday and Friday, and in the next video, I will be talking about honoring the late, the great Queen Elizabeth II. I think that it's very important to honor people who actually do good in the world and bring light into this world, because there's a lot of people who just love to antagonize. So let's take just a moment to honor her. I have some of my own personal favorite memories, a couple of quips, and some lighthearted moments that I loved of hers. And I have my all-time favorite Queen Elizabeth story that just happened last summer, that when I have a bad day or I'm worried about getting older, I always think of the story. It melts my heart, and I know it will melt yours. So come back for the next video. In the meantime, work on the things that we've been talking about. We're back to working on things. I'm back on to telling you practice, practice, practice. You got this. See you next time.